So, when you start to study for this thing, remember now, a lot is definition. So one of the things I would like for you to know is to know what is account control. All right, a definition for account control. A definition what is a pre-test, a post-test. All right, definitions such as infinite. You know, these are important terms to know. I need for you to know what is a sentinel value. These are all important definitions to know for the exam with it. I could ask you, before entering a loop to compute the running total, the program should first what? So if you recall, we did the accumulator, know what an accumulator is with it. I need for you to know what a delimiter is. One of the things that an item that separates one item from another known as a delimiter. So if you remember the for loop, it has two of those semicolons in there. It separates the values between them, or the parameter between them with it as well. I need for you to know what is a condition loop. What does that look like with it? So I need for you to know what is a sentinel value. What's the definition for a sentinel? I need for you to know what is accumulator. Things that we just talked about with it as well. All right, let me talk to you about moving on here. I need for you to figure out, I'm going to talk to you about what's called file input output. This is equivalent to your chapter 3 in 1436 input output with it. So in an input output, when you can read in an external file and you can write out an external file with this thing. So re-entering data at all times can get kind of tedious for a user. Most of the times that people read in data and they actually what's called parse the data with it. Data can be saved to a file, such as you can take an existing file like an Excel spreadsheet and you can convert it to remove it and strip out all the Microsoft meta tags out of it and save it as a CVS format, save it as a text format, and so on and so on. Files have to be open. That's the first step. Data is written to that file. Second step. 3 is that the file must be closed prior to the program termination with this thing. In general, there are two types of file. There's binary and there's text. All right, there's binary and there's text with it. So when you write to a file in this, now this is where the PrintWriter class comes into play right now. The PrintWriter output file, new PrintWriter. This is what you're going to be opening up the file text that you output to create the instance of the PrintWriter class. So this is what's being created as an instance, is the output file. So pass the name of the file that you wish to open as an argument to the PrintWriter constructor. So remember, this is the name of the file. This could be a text file, it could be a binary file. You open this up, and it's going to write to this object. Okay, remember now, output file. The PrintWriter class allows you to write data to use the print and print line method as you have been using to display the screen. Just as the system.out object, the print line method of the printer class will replace the new line character after it's written the data with the thing. So, and the third is that the print method writes the data without writing the new line character with us as well. So just 3 things you need to keep up with some parameters with this. Let's look at the syntax right here. So when you look at the printer, this is the object right now you instantiated. This output file is this. So when you actually use the dot syntax, you access the print L after it as well, and you can actually write to the names that actually, and you can close up that file with it. Okay. So what actually happens, you're opening this file, this out file right now, and you're printing it to the names into these files, and this is very important. That you close up the file after you're done. The print class uses the print class, PrintWriter class, puts the following import statement at the top of the source. So you got to have this. This is equivalent to your scanner and your class at the top with this thing. So I'm going to open up your file write demo Java. And then this is the file demo Java with this. This is the file that you need to have. You got to put that on the top here, and you need this file for the for reading in a file and writing input and output, like what's called an exception in this thing. Now, that's one thing. So the moment you do this file write demos is the name of the file. And I want you to notice that we also added in the throw IO exception. Alright, throw IO exception to your public static void main string argument. So this is all declares the file name. Both of these are strings. Number of friends, again, your keyboard object. How many friends do you have? So you read in from the keyboard the int. It stores in a number of friends. This number of friends is declared here. And then you actually come down here, you read the next line, you store the whole keyboard, consume the whole keyboard in the new line character with this thing, and you're going to enter the file name. You can store that in the file name. This file name is what? This file name, this string right here. So you start to open up the file with the output file by using the PrintWriter class with this PrintWriter class with this thing, and you just increment, you store this into the friend's name, okay, and you output this to your out file with this thing, and finally you close this. So this is if you look at step 1, 2, 3 in these 3 steps that I just shared with you, the exception happens in a Java. Just talk to you. The exception is the throw. The methods executing when the exception is throw must be handled through the exception and is passed up to the line with this thing. So, so what do I need for you to know? What I need, again, I mean, you could read the slide right here is that throw I just shared with you. But in this particular part of this is make sure you know how to write, well, one, what is the library file that you need? What library file do you need to actually to import in to use the PrintWriter class? You gotta use what? This, okay? Import java.io ** with it. That's gonna be asked. I can tell you that. How do you assume? Once you store that into an input file, how do you actually store that number in? So, creating an object. How do you generate that object? How do you create anything like, for example, this file name? How do you open the file? All right. So you will open the file name. This file name is this file name, right? That you've actually taken for the whole keyboard with it. So make sure you understand that there's 2 types of files. There's binary and there's text, right? The exception to insert a throw clause in the method header simply adds in the word throws, and the name of the expected is exception. So when you use the PrintWriter object, can throw what's called an input-output exception, so you can write the throw clause with this. So I share with you, normally you would actually have this, but this is the new part if you're planning to read in and write out. When you do a file reading in, right, you got to have that one in there as well. So appending a text to a file. Now this is how you use the file writer in this object in this manner that you would actually read in. This is the new part that you're going to add in this parameter that says true. Then create the PrintWriter object as this manner that you actually to pass in your FW as your new appendage that you're going to attach this to the PrintWriter in this thing. Now I just want to point out, make sure you see this is PrintWriter. In the previous statements that you actually have, when you actually read in, when you append, you could actually append it based off and using this as a true. Okay. Specifying the local locations with this thing. This is what's called an absolute path. So this is what's the path that's coming out from your computer. If you're not sure what is an absolute path, make sure you look it up. Versus what's called what's the other one's absolute path, and the other one is relative path. So a relative path is using the dot with a backslash or a dot syntax. So this is true what's on your computer right now. So on window, path contains what's called backslash for changing the directory. So remember that the backslash is used as a string literal, and it is an escape character, so you must use two of them. So it's an escape, meaning you gotta use two. So it picks up one, but the other one, it doesn't see it. So again, make sure you use that proper path with it. Specifying the file location, this is only necessary for a backslash. It is a string literal. If the backslash is a string object, then it is handled properly with it. Fortunately, Java allows Unix styles file name by using a forward slash to separate the directory. So in Unix you have these forward slash with it, and in Windows you basically have backslash with it as well. Let me pause right here.